Howdy everybody, I'm Gary and this is GLoPersonalFinance, where I talk about getting your finances under control, building wealth, and becoming financially independent. Look, I spent the last 2 videos in this series talking about all the ins and outs of buying a house, and ultimately if it's worth it or not. If you haven't seen those videos yet, definitely check out those videos in the description below. However, there are times where buying a house just doesn't make sense. Stick around and we'll talk about when renting could be better than buying. Quick little side note, I spend a good amount of time researching, shooting, and editing this content, and I usually ask y'all to like and subscribe to my channel at the beginning of the video. This time though, I want to ask y'all to give me a like and subscribe if I really earned it. Don't just like and subscribe my content because this beautiful face, but like and subscribe my content if you think the information I give is stuff you really enjoy gaining knowledge about. So definitely watch to the end, and if I earned it, hit me up by smashing that like button. Renting. Renting might feel like you're throwing money away. And yes, renting is certainly different than a mortgage because with mortgage, you're paying some of it as interest to the lender and part of the mortgage is going back as equity in your home. And geez, owning a home is the quintessential American dream. You've heard it from all your peers around you. You probably heard it from your parents. You gotta own that home. It's financial security. Yes, owning a home could make financial sense, but seriously, it might not be for everybody. Heck, I've been reading a bunch of articles where there are tons of higher net worth individuals foregoing buying a home and just renting. So with renting, I think I've whittled it down to 5 main things you consider where renting is more beneficial than owning. Number 1, having an adequate savings. Owning a home is expensive. HVAC systems break down, plumbing gets clogged, roofs need replacing, and a multitude of other catastrophic events could happen when you're a homeowner. Look, around 1/3 of United States are renters, and also 39% of people are able to afford a $1,000 expense. So that leaves 61% of Americans not being able to handle a home emergency. So if you're a renter and a home-related expense suddenly happens, you get to brush off your hands, sit back, and let your landlord fix this issue. But if you're a homeowner and you can't make your mortgage payments, now your house is on the line and you're ready to be foreclosed on. I have a rule of thumb, at the very minimum, you gotta have 3 months of emergency savings. However, if you're a homeowner, you need a bit more in your emergency savings in case the doo-doo hits the fan. A homeowner has a lot more responsibilities to account for. And what's nice about being a renter, since you don't need to keep as much cash on hand, you can definitely use that money on more opportunities to make yourself even more money. Now, I'm not saying if you're renting, you can spend that extra cash on Gucci or Louis Vuitton bags, but use that money to invest in other opportunities like broad market index funds, starting a business, or more education for yourself. Number 2, that down payment might not be worth it. Affordability of a home is a huge calculation, and this calculation is not done by your bank or real estate agent. The bank does run numbers to see if you're pre-qualified for that loan, and your real estate agent wants to find you a home on the higher end of that pre-qualification estimate. The bank and agent get paid based on the price of the loan. The bank sucks every bit of interest from that purchase price, and your real estate agent gets their commission from your purchase price. So it's up to you not to blindly trust your bank or real estate agent, but to do your own calculations to see if you can afford this home. Heck, one of the main reasons why the '08 crash happened was because of the blind trust people had of evil banks giving them a fairy tale loan, and bam, they couldn't pay their loans because banks knew that these people couldn't afford the loan, and the people taking out the loans couldn't afford them either. Blind trust in the bank is bad, so you must increase your financial literacy to know if you can afford that home. But with renting, you don't need that 20% down payment. You don't need tons of financial calculations. You know your rent, you know what you pay each month, you know right then and there if you can afford that rent. Also, with that money that you would have used for the down payment, there are many other opportunities that you can use that money on. At the very minimum, invest in long-term broad market index funds. Third is your debt to income ratio. If, like a normal American, you're probably smothered with debt. You got credit card debt, you have a car loan debt, you have that school loan debt. And taking on a home loan debt will only exacerbate that problem. As a renter, your cash isn't as tied up versus a homeowner. You can spend more on liquid cash to pay down your existing debts. Plus, without all the other debts weighing you down and paying them off, your credit score will go up. Your debt to income ratio will go down, and it'll get you a far better interest rate, putting you in a better standing of affording a home. That debt to income ratio is so important. So while you're renting, use it as an optimal time to tackle some unwanted debt. If you need some suggestions on how to slap debt in the face, I have a video link right up here on using the debt snowball method to take control of that debt. The solution of getting control of your debt is not getting more debt. Rent a small place, get control of that debt, and then affording your perfect house will be even more obtainable. Fourth is investment. Your home should not be seen as your sole investment vehicle. Yes, a house is technically an investment, but should it be your only investment? I know it'll be great later on down the line when you finish paying off your mortgage, you won't be paying anything. But now what? Your cash is locked up in the equity of the house. You don't have access to it unless you sell your house. So if you're looking at a house as your only investment, you're going to be in for a hard retirement. Many people have rented their whole lives and can easily live off their investment from a good long-term broad market index fund. That money is way more accessible versus money tied up in your house. So yes, a house is an investment, but if you're foregoing other investment opportunities just for this house, you're going to have a bad time. And last, being nomadic. I think this one speaks for itself. Being able to pick up your stuff and move on to the next opportunity has a certain appeal to it. If you're a homeowner, the rule of thumb is if you're going to sell your house before 4 years, you're most likely going to be losing a ton of money from fees and equity and interest. So only buy a home if you're ready for home ownership. For me, it was definitely fun living in over half a dozen places before finally knowing what I wanted. Being a nomad gave me insight, and I wouldn't have been able to experience all of that if I owned a home and stuck in one place. Renting allowed me to pick up my stuff, go and explore, and it helped me save enough money to eventually be a homeowner. I hope you guys like my 3-part series all about housing. Like I said in the intro of the video, if I earned your like and subscribe, please do consider smashing those buttons. I made this channel to help as many people navigate this weird world of personal finance, and I definitely want to get the word out about financial literacy to as many people as possible. And pushing those like and subscribe buttons really pushes the YouTube algorithm to recommend my content to other people. Check out the description below and support my channel by clicking the links, getting free stocks by opening brokerage accounts, or getting some t-shirt merch. I hope you guys like this series. Y'all stay safe out there, and I'll see y'all next time.